welcome back to our Harkla YouTube channel. We are just so thrilled that you have decided to come hang out with us today. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Jessica, and we're the Certified Occupational Therapy Assistants with Harkla. And today we're going to give 5 tips for any new OT practitioners starting in pediatrics.
So this is a question that we've been getting quite frequently of people joining the pediatric world or new grads starting out, and they've been asking us, what do I do? What do I focus on? Like, do you have any tips for us? And of course we have lots of tips. Jess and I have been pediatric occupational therapy assistants for 10 years. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary as therapists, which is wild.
We're so old.
Young at heart, young at heart. We're wise, we're very wise.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give you our 5 tips, but really quick, we wanted to just quickly chat about what it was kind of like when we first started. So we graduated, we started in a pediatric clinic right out of graduation, and it was just, we didn't know anything. You know, you learn a little bit here and there in school, but OT is really a job that you learn by doing. So we really learned from our mentor, which we're so thankful that we had a really great mentor for our first couple of years. And that is going to be one of our tips later on. But I will tell you, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing at least 90% of the time for the first year.
Yeah, I just joke that when I didn't even want to go into pediatrics, like all through school. I don't know if you remember this, but all through school, I was like, nope, I am here to work with the geriatric population. I'm not going to work with kids. Like, that's not my area that I want to go into. And then I got a job in the pediatric clinic that we were in and had a great mentor, and we still laugh about it that I literally didn't know how to do a wheelbarrow walk. I didn't know the wheels on the bus. Like, I didn't know any of those like normal childhood songs and stuff. Like, I just had no experience in that area. So everything I learned was on the job and just like through hours of continuing education. Mm-hmm. So just keep an open mind when you're going through school or when you're transitioning. If you were in maybe a different setting and now you're transitioning into the pediatric world, just keep an open mind and make sure that you're open to learning all of the things. Because you never know where you're going to end.
First tip when you're starting in pediatrics is to really focus on building rapport and trust with the children you're working with and with their families. If the child doesn't enjoy coming to therapy, which does happen sometimes, then you're not going to make progress. So you really need to build that rapport, that conversation, have fun with the child so that they're excited to come see you every week. And then you need to build trust with the family. So you need to also have that rapport built with the family so that they trust you, they take your suggestions, they feel comfortable asking you questions, you can ask them questions. You really have to kind of build those personal skills with your families and the clients you're working with in order to see the success that we want to see with our children.
The next one is to really get down on their level and meet them where they're at. Get down, make eye contact with them, make it playful. Kids learn through play, as we know in this profession. We have to make it fun. We have to identify what they love to do and what's motivating to them and what's playful for them. So just slow down and focus on that connection with them. I know it sounds kind of silly to say, but I feel like, you know, it's hard when you're jumping into a setting and you're a little uncomfortable and maybe you're nervous. Kids pick up on that. But it's hard to think about really connecting, but I feel like once we were feeling confident, we were kind of in a groove, once we realized, okay, let's slow down a little bit, let's just play, let's just connect. I feel like our clients felt that so much more when we were able to do that, and that's when you really start to see that progress. Like, we're here with you, we're together, we're in here together to make progress with you. Like, we're on the same team, like we just want to help you. So yeah, get down.
Well, and if you think about it, a child's main occupation is play. So if you are getting down on the floor and playing with them, that's really all you need to do.
That's all.
That's it.
Done. We probably don't even need any more tips.
We should just end here. Okay, we'll give you a couple more. The next one is if you're working with older children, preteens, teenagers, then you really need to engage them in the things that they are interested in. Young children, I say it's pretty easy because I've been doing this for so long, but it's easier with young children to engage them in a variety of new and different things. Older children are kind of often more resistant to being in therapy. They have more specific interests like Minecraft or sports. And so what you need to find out is what their interests are and ask them questions and talk to them about it. Learn something new from your older client. So if you're working with a teenager and they love some sort of building thing that they love to do.
Like Legos?
Well, maybe Legos, maybe something else.
Okay.
Ask them to teach you about it. Say, hey, I don't really know much about that. Can you tell me more? Can you show me how it works? Can you bring something that you've built into our next session and show me? And this will really get that child's buy-in to your sessions and helps you build that rapport and trust with them. So find out what they like and ask them questions about it.
Yes. The next one is to really make sure that you have a good grasp, a good understanding on just basic sensory integration, sensory processing, and emotional regulation, because at least for us, we were in an outpatient, like sensory-based clinic, and really whatever setting you're in, the sensory system, that emotional regulation, self-regulation, those skills are imperative for every child to learn and develop. And I feel like that's a real foundation of what we're doing in occupational therapy for a lot of our kiddos. So make sure that you have a good grasp on making sensory diets and using emotional regulation tools like the zones of regulation or the alert program, and make sure that you're sending those tools home with your clients. Create those home exercise programs, hold your kiddos accountable and hold your clients and their caregivers accountable for carrying over what they feel like they can, and they're doing what you're doing in therapy in other settings as well. You know, have those challenging conversations with them and let them know that coming to OT one time a week isn't going to be a cure-all. It's not going to fix everything. It's a whole approach that we need to make sure that we're incorporating in all settings and we're all using the same language. So make sure you have a good foundational knowledge of sensory processing, emotional regulation, for sure.
Our last tip is to ask questions, find a mentor if possible, and don't be afraid to tell your clients' families, I'm not really sure what the answer to that is, but I will look it up, I'll do some research, and I will have an answer for you next week, and then make sure you follow through. So if you work with other therapists, ask them questions if they've been in the field longer than you. Say, hey, I don't really know much about this, or I'm struggling in this area with this client. Would you be open to a brainstorming session during lunch? Make sure you're asking those questions. If possible, find a really good mentor, whether it's in person or if it's a virtual mentor that you can work with. Those are like the biggest ways to grow as a therapist, is to learn from therapists who've been doing this for a while, which is one of the reasons why we did the podcast and the YouTube video and all the things we do, is because we want to help fellow therapists learn all of these amazing things to help their clients. So just make sure you're asking questions, learning new things, and doing continuing education that is up to date and relevant with your population.
Yeah, we're still learning ourselves as well, and we still are asking questions and finding mentors for ourselves to who we can ask questions to and learn more from, because I think once you feel like you're good, you've got it, you know what you're doing, things change. And then you're hit with a kiddo who has totally stumped you and you're like, I just don't know what to do. So just continue to ask questions. The more you settle, the more you're like, nah, I'm good, we got this. I think the more challenging it will be. So just don't be afraid to ask questions and ask for help.
Yeah. If you liked this video, if it was helpful, make sure you send it to a fellow therapist who might also be looking for some answers in this area.
So if you have any help for any new pediatric therapists, and if you guys want to have that conversation, we invite you to do so in the comments below. Help each other out.
Make sure you like this video. Like I said, send it to somebody else who might find it helpful, and subscribe to the Harkla YouTube channel. We drop a new video every Tuesday.
Make sure that you listen to our podcast podcast as well, All Things Sensory Podcast. We're on all major podcast platforms. We have plenty of podcast episodes on this topic as well. And then make sure that you're following on Instagram as well, All Things Sensory Podcast and Harkla_family. We hang out there, so let us know if you like this YouTube video there as well.
All right, with that, we will talk to you next week.
Get down on your clients. Get down on their level.
Get down on your clients.
I thought about that afterwards. Yeah, okay.
Get down on them.
Get down on them.